Hey guys, just back with another video, trying to get a couple of these out every week. Hopefully there's going to be some fishing ones mixed in here with this. This week I am doing my kickstand crayfish. Neat little fly, kind of stands up, looks like a fighting crayfish. You can do it in multiple colors. I like doing mine with the black body, red back. Gives a good little contrast. I'll show you a list of it, show you everything that I'm using to tie it before I start. So I'm hoping you all like this. Get watching, like, subscribe, all the fun things. Okay guys, for this video it's real simple. Here's my materials. Got red bucktail, a little bit of bead chain, medium, small, either one will do. Using Hairline's stripped goose biots. These are brown. Using Owner's mosquito circle hooks in the size 6. Extra fine dubbing. And then my bead, I actually is a glass bead that I found at Hobby Lobby on sale for this whole big container. So 1,000 some beads, normally $10. Got it for 3. Well, actually less than 3. It's $2.30. So that'll be all that I'm going to use for making this. Okay, with what I start with doing, taking one of my hooks, and I always try to pinch the barb down on these. You can see it there. So I just take a pair of needle nose pliers, get that right over the barb, just kind of give it a good smash there, just to kind of help make it a little bit easier. As you can see, it's kind of, this hook's got a nice little bent point, so it's going to keep you from losing any fish. Then get a bead. Now, because of the size of these hooks, I will use a pair of tongs to hold it, to help it a little bit easier to slide it on and go up and around. And I hope I don't do that very often, but you know, it happens. So if you watch, you can see the hook goes up, over. And this is the reason I like to use my tweezers, tongs, whatever, to hold them. So let's get this on here this time. Up and around the bend. There we go. Now next, we secure it in the vise. Getting snug. Lock this back down into place here. There. And then just right behind the bead, I'm just going to make a few wraps. Get my thread started, build up a little spot to put my bead chain eyes behind the bead. Zoom in here a little bit for you, so you kind of see it a little bit better. I'm just going to secure my bead chain eyes right behind the bead. Just a couple of quick wraps. There we go. Just a little quick figure eights over top of it. And just wrap it tightly behind it and pull it down. it'll pretty much lock it into place where you want it. Then we'll kind of come around, start going around the curve of the hook and just bring it back there. Now I'm going to take and get my goose biots here. I'm just going to go down to 2 right here together at the end. Try to get just what I need here. Go back just a little bit. I think those are a little too short. There we go. Just going to take 2, clip off right there. They're right side by side. Just going to clip them off together. And I'll just kind of situate them, reverse them, and have them lay against each other so they create a V like this. I'm just going to lay those right in there. Make some wraps to attach them down here. Make sure I catch them good. And then just bring that right back around to where they flare off the back a little bit. And just kind of tighten it down. Give it a few quick tugs in there. Still hold it in place. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my extra fine. This is actually dry fly dubbing, but I like it because it's a little bit lighter for what I'm doing. Just pinch me off a little bit here. Get my fingers wet just a tiny bit. And then just make me a quick dubbing noodle here. And then I'm just going to wrap this back up the hook, occasionally twisting that noodle until I get right back up to that first starting to flatten out for the shank part. And then I'm just going to repeat the process with my goose biots. Doing the exact same thing, going to the back, finding me 2 right side by side, and laying them into that area right at the end, and laying them flat right against there. And tie those in, making sure they kind of flare out a little bit. From this point, I'm going to actually wrap forward to right behind the beads, bead chain eyes. Give me 2 more biots, exact same way. Just repeating that for the 3rd time. This time when I go to put these in, I want to shove them through just a little bit and actually have them stand up off the hook shank some. Which is going to create kind of a kickstand effect on these. Which I'll show you the reasoning for that here shortly. I'm just going to trim out the excess buyout there. And then come back to in front of them. Kind of spread them. Grab me my tweezers here. Kind of twist them up to where I want them a little bit better. There we go. From here, you take just a little bit more of your dubbing. And you can of course use whatever you want. I just like this dry fly dubbing for this, because of the thinner profile it gives it for the body. Gonna make my dubbing noodle again. Going right in behind that first set of buyouts, coming forward and wrapping right up to against these. Then going right behind them. From there, you just need just a little bit more to finish this out. Get behind that, but you don't want to put it too thick right here. What you're actually going to do is kind of help label these out just a little bit, make sure you don't trap them that way, and go right there. and stop right behind those eyes. Make sure everything's looking good and straight still, and then just turn it over. From here, we get a little bit of our bucktail. Like I said, I'm using a bucktail piece. I'm just grabbing about like what would be about a pencil's width. Maybe just a little bit of extra. Come down in here. I always use a different pair of scissors for doing that, just a little bit heavier for when I'm cutting my bucktail, just not to dull down my good scissors. I kind of just want that to go right there. So I'll trim off a little bit of this excess. Come in here right about basically get a hold of it good. I'm gonna go right behind those bead chains and tie that in. Clean out some of this excess here. We don't really need it. Clean off as much as you can from that bead in there, just to kind of help things out. And then I bring my thread back in front, do a couple of figure eights over top of it to help kind of lock everything down. Then I'll just get my whip finisher and come in here, back up and over. Make a few quick wraps here. Pull it tight. Pull it in to lock it. And just trim off. I then usually take some kind of nail hardener, like Sally Hard as Nails or something along the same lines, and just put a drop right there where all that comes together. Give it a few seconds to dry. And there we have, back over here, my kickstand crawfish. My fan would quit blowing it over. The way he will stand up on those goose bouts like that really increases his look and his profile. Gives you that fighting crayfish look, so when it's just sitting there and that red in there will give it a little bit of